So, but yeah, so there's, and what you're saying, there are booms and there are cycles to things. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Harry Dent and his writings at all.
You've mentioned him, yeah.
Have I mentioned him before? But that's kind of his thing, is cycles and economics, and all of his research. He's quite a different thinker than a lot of economists, because his thinking is based on demographics and populations. And of course, the baby boom generation, I think everybody kind of knows, is the biggest, and it's affected everything that people buy and the way they live in demographics. And as it moves through the whole baby boom population moves through the aging cycle, it continues to affect different waves of things. But now baby boomers are, getting older, and so they've really gone past their peak spending years. Because your peak spending years are when you're younger and you have a family, because you're buying a lot of things for the family, you're buying all kinds of things for the kids, and maybe a new car, or upgrading your housing, or if nothing else, education. All that's gone for a lot of the baby boomers. Yeah. And they have everything already anyway. There's not much left for them to buy. So, and they're actually more concerned about saving and retiring at some point. So we've gone through a wave where people are not, a big demographic in the country is not spending like it used to. And it doesn't need to, and it's not going to in the future. So that one factor alone is going to change the economy of the U.S. and of the whole world. And then there's other things certainly beyond that too, but we seem to be entering a spot where, technology and the economy has sort of flattened out. The baby boomers are past their peak spending years, and then you look at the amount of debt that the country has racked up, and foreign countries too. Yeah. Jumped in and followed the lead of the Fed. And, all the central banks kind of talk together and collude. So this is going on around the world, that they're all racking up lots of debt. Well, that has to be paid off, and all of that takes away from spending that's productive. It goes back into productive things in the economy. So all these things are kind of cycling, as you mentioned, and their cycles are sort of happening in a very untimely way. And a lot of it's going to start to hit this year. I think probably later on this year. But this was a little wake-up call for people, because last year the stock market did, a very unrealistic 30% or so.
Yeah.
Just a boom, and yet the economy and the markets were really not very good. But based on a lot of the Fed and the extra $85 billion a month they were putting in the economy and other stuff, it got kind of artificially inflated. And then, we turned the page on the calendar, and we're into January, and magically, it's not so good anymore.
And the Feds are actually tapering now, right? It was 85, now it's 75, and they plan to bring it down to 65 billion a month.
Yeah.
So
they announced another $10 billion drop in the gifting the next month, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they go for 85, 75, and the next month they'll drop another 10 billion, 65.
So that's freaking some people out in the markets, right? Well,
it is. Oh, $20 billion I don't have anymore. Oh, every month I got it. Oh, yeah. Those were the good old days.
Yeah. Who doesn't like free? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that will have a big impact. I mean, I don't know if they'll do the whole thing by the end of the year. They're talking about it. Some people are as a goal, but if the waters get rough here during the year, which they will, it's going to be a rough year, trust me, on the economy. They may have to slow the